But for you, do you have to pay any part of it, or does the scholarship take care of everything?
It's fully funded. Visa, insurance, stipend, tuition,
Down to house rent?
everything.
Ha-ah.
I actually did not want to come here. I made 15 applications and 14 of them were in the UK.
Wow.
And just one was in the Netherlands.
Shall we begin? Yes, we shall begin. Okay, hi everybody. I am having another interview again today, and I'm super excited. I had a previous interview about Masters and PhD in Netherlands. That was with Shire, and it was a really good video. And today I'm having another interview. We're talking about Masters in the Netherlands, and here I have with me Onyinye.
Onyinye.
Do you mind introducing yourself?
Okay, no, I don't. So my name is Onyinye. I am. Okay, also
You don't know who you are?
Sorry. Okay, hi.
Just a bit about yourself, your name.
Okay.
If you want to share what you're studying, that's fine.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Onyinye, and I'm currently studying my master's in the Netherlands. I'm studying development economics. I'm in my final year now, so I graduate in August. Yeah, I'm Nigerian, so that's it.
Yeah, don't worry. We have questions that would reveal more about you.
Okay.
It's really nice having you here. Like I usually say, I've gotten asked a lot of questions about studies in Netherlands, but I don't have that information myself because I work here. So it's nice that, I have people like this who are willing to share about their experiences. And I have a couple of questions here. These were mostly the questions I asked Shire. I just refined some of them to make it more suited for masters. So I'm hoping that these questions get to touch some of the questions that you may already have. I think we can begin. So the first question I have here is, why Netherlands? Why did you choose this place for your masters?
I actually did not want to come here.
Everybody did not want to come here. That was the same thing Shire said. Okay.
To be honest, after I was done with my bachelor's, I knew I wanted to study my master's abroad, but in the UK. So I was very focused with the UK applications. I made 15 applications and 14 of them were in the UK.
Wow.
And just one was in the Netherlands. I got rejection from all the
14.
all the 14 other scholarships in the UK, except one. I got a reserve list for one of them in the UK, but then they never picked me, so I chose Netherlands because I had the opportunity. But I'm really glad that I'm here at the end of the day.
Wow. Over 15. So Netherlands was like, let me just put this one in.
I just felt it was also providence, to be honest, because I've seen how my life has changed being here, so I guess that's it. It was not my dream country.
So how was the application process how was the application I know English. How was the application process like? How did you apply? You mentioned you applied to 15 places, one place here. How exactly do you go about this application? Was it a letter you sent? Was it a form you filled online? Did you have to go through an agent, pay someone?
For all my applications, I never used an agent, so everything is self-research. So I'll focus more on this scholarship that I got here in the Netherlands. I got the African Scholarship Program. It's funded by my university. By the way, I attend Wageningen University and Research. The application is pretty straightforward. You are not supposed to apply for the scholarship except they invite you to apply. So it's quite tricky. So the first step is to apply for an admission with the university. And
which was what you did.
Which was what I did.
Okay.
Yeah. But then again, you are only considered for the scholarship if you graduated top 5% of your class in Nigeria, so in your bachelor's.
Okay.
So you have to really emphasize that in your essay so they can consider you for the scholarship, right? So the first step is to apply for admission in any master's program in Wageningen University. You're supposed to do this application before February. So there's a February deadline for master's application for admission.
Yeah.
Right? And then in March, they invite you to apply for the scholarship itself.
Ah.
Yeah. So not everybody gets the invitation to apply for scholarship.
So from what I see here is you already knew about the scholarship before you applied for the admission.
Yeah.
And then that was why you emphasized that you're a good candidate.
Yeah.
Scholar.
And if you graduated top 1%, also emphasize that. I mean, you don't have to say I graduated top 5% if you graduated top 1%, right? Even if it's top 2%, because the higher it is, the better for you.
That's true.
Yeah.
So when you emphasize this, did you emphasize it like I graduated top 5, my eyes on the scholarship, or did you just emphasize it and let them figure out what to do with that information?
I actually did mention that I didn't have money to fund my tuition, and I would like to consider for all available scholarships. So I sort of like knew there were actually multiple, but my eyes were on ASP because it had more benefits. Well,
ASP is the African Scholarship Program. I'll probably write it on the screen so people understand. That's actually interesting that you didn't even want Netherlands in the first place, and then Netherlands is favoring you.
Yeah, and the thing is that the application process, it doesn't just end at applying. You have to write essays and have an interview. But this happens within April, so it's really, really fast. The feedback is really fast, and then by May you get your reply on whether or not you've gotten it or not. But now, unfortunately, I didn't write an English exam before applying for admission, but as of 2022, there was a new regulation or a new requirement that you could not apply for admission without taking IELTS or TOEFL. You're coming now, or you plan to come now, you have to take an English exam.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I get this correctly, you first applied for admission, normal admission,
Yeah.
and then they would call you or let you know if you are also eligible for the scholarship.
Yeah.
Do you have to write any exam for that scholarship, or
4 essays.
you write 4 essays for that scholarship? Is that where they also interview you?
No, after that. So when you pass through the essay stage and they like your essay, they would invite you for an interview.
Does that interview determine the scholarship, or does it determine the admission, or both?
It determines the scholarship, because before they even give you the invitation for the scholarship, you should have gotten admission already.
So the scholarship just comes in as, I've gotten admission, but I cannot pay.
Yeah.
So now I need the scholarship. All right. That's pretty interesting. Anyways, we've spent a long time on just question 1. Question 2 is, you mentioned that you knew you were going to do masters. So any part of it that you'd like to share? Why exactly were you interested in masters?
I thought that the masters was like the yin to my yang. Like, it would solve all my problems. We'll get to that part, but like, that's one of the big shocks I got, that it's actually not. So I just felt like from my final year in my bachelor's, I knew I wanted to do a master's. So during my NYSC year, I don't really know what NYSC is, but during my NYSC year, I was already like mapping out my plan, where to apply. So that was like a test year for me. So the major reason why I wanted to do a master's was because I wanted to be globally competitive and also have opportunities, the skills, the access to opportunities. And yeah, I thought it would solve my problems.
Has it solved your problems
No.
yet? Anyways, we would get into more questions where I ask how your experience with masters has been.
Yeah.
But I think the first answer is that it hasn't solved her problems. The next question here was going to be the tuition fees for masters in your school. I know you're on scholarship as a scholar, but do you know what the tuition fees is like for maybe other programs or even for your own course?
Okay, so it's yearly. It is like 21K per year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think when I was coming in, it was actually 18.
When I hear these prices, it
It's
just
like
reminds me
18K.
that I don't need masters.
Like, when I mean 18K, like 18,000 euros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for you, do you have to pay any part of it, or does the scholarship take care of everything?
It's fully funded. Visa, insurance, stipend, tuition,
Down to house rent?
everything.
Was I the top 1%? Let me think about...
I think the only thing I needed to do was to pack my bags and travel.
I think I was like the top 10, maybe top 10%. Is that okay? Because this is actually a great way. So if you're a top 5% in your bachelor's, top 1% or top 0.2%, it would be nice to really include that when you're applying for admissions, at least here in Netherlands. I don't know if it's the same thing for masters.
I did it for all my applications, actually.
Okay.
It stands you out.
Okay. Yeah. Well, whether there's scholarship or not, put the information. Well, moving on to the next question. The next question was going to be, what are the scholarship opportunities like? So apart from this African scholarship program, the ASP, do you know about any other scholarship programs in the Netherlands or in Wageningen?
So there's actually one called the Orange Knowledge Program, but it's funded by the Dutch government, and the requirements are slightly different.
Who funds the AFP?
ASP.
ASP.
My university.
But the orange one is the
OKP.
Dutch.
So like in short, it's like OKP. It's funded by the Dutch government. It's not just for my university actually. It's for like most universities in the Netherlands. So it doesn't have to be in Wageningen University to get the OKP. But I didn't apply for that anyways.
Any reason?
It needed like 3 years of work experience minimum. And I was just like NYSC. And also, it had more requirements, to be honest, like employer something. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not doing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think in the previous interview, Faye also mentioned OKP.
Okay.
So I'll still leave a link on the screen. You can check it out and see what the requirements are. I would definitely recommend trying out as many scholarships as possible until one of them clicks. But moving on to the next question, which I believe you already mentioned a bit about, is what is your study about and what do you like about your study, even if it hasn't solved your problems yet?
I already mentioned I'm doing a master's in development economics. So it's very focused on the global south. So the global south refers to developing countries like in countries in Africa, Asia, Latin America. So we are very focused on solving problems like poverty, environmental issues, development issues in that sort. So I think from the economic side, we do a lot of modeling. We have national data, sometimes community level data, just like model, okay, this intervention that we've done here, was it impactful? Did it have any results? We can also predict. So I think that's where data analysis comes in, because you're predicting, you're modeling, basically econometrics, right? Impact assessment. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
I think the second question was what I like about it.
Yeah, what you
right?
like about it?
I think it's fulfilling. It's fulfilling to see that you're actually making impacts in people's life, actual people who need this help.
True.
There's this sense of, okay, I'm actually adding value to the world. Yeah, so I think that's something that I like about it.
Nice. Well, thanks for sharing all of that. I think those are really interesting and honest answers. I think that should also guide people decisions on what course that they choose or what program that they choose, because at the end of the day, it's something that would keep you going. Either there is money coming out of it, there is fulfillment coming out of it, there is growth coming out of it, something we just have to keep you going. But I mean, that's more of a personal advice than actually a master's advice. Okay, we're back from our short break.
You're going to include that part, right?
I'm going to include it.
Oh, really?
Look, some part of the bloopers make the video fun, to be honest. Question 6.
Yeah.
How does internships work with masters? You mentioned that you are currently doing an internship. So with master's program like this, or master's programs like this, how does internship work?
I don't know if every university requires that you do an internship for your master's, but for my uni, it was a requirement. So it's mandatory that you intern before you graduate. So it has like credit loads attached to them.
Credit what?
Loads. So it's like you're graded.
Okay.
Yeah, so the internships are graded. How does it work? You'd apply. To be honest, getting an internship is the same everywhere, at least in my experience. It doesn't just happen really fast. So you have to like make a couple of applications by yourself. So the university is not obliged to find one for you, even though they can recommend you or they can give you information about where to find or how to find.
Yeah.
But the job of finding an internship is on you.
How do you know what kind of internships to? Is it based on what you're studying, or is your, I don't know, supervisor going to tell you this is what you should intern? Is it intern for or intern in?
Yeah.
Or how exactly do you know?
Actually, like every department, we call them chair groups, has a list, like has a requirement list for how your internship should be.
Okay.
So before you accept or apply for one, you check like, does this internship meet the criteria? So it has to like meet certain academic standards. It has to meet certain professional standards as well.
Can you give an example or 2 examples of this requirement?
For example, you don't want an internship where you're just punching in numbers.
Okay.
So you should, what research did you do? Did you solve a problem? Something that is academic or professional, because some people can do a very professional internship where they're like helping with strategy in a company.
Okay.
But it should be something that is up to a master's level of education.
Okay. And this information, is it something the company that wants you to intern with them, is it something they would tell you or write down?
Yeah. So there's a contract in the beginning.
Okay.
That specifies what you'll be doing.
Okay.
And what your deliverables would be in the end.
Yeah.
So you already know before you start like what you'll be working with and what your outcomes should be or look like at least.
Okay.
I mean, it's always very flexible, but there is an agreement in the beginning to sort of like set the motion. So you're not
nice.
like, yeah.
Oh, nice. And moving on, next question is, have you been involved in extracurricular activities?
Yes. I actually like this question.
All right. The floor is yours. have your way.
Because it kind of like made me realize that I was good at hosting, emceeing, anchoring, whatever you want to call it. For the first time, I anchored an event. It was an Africans Day event. And I really enjoyed it. And I got lots of compliments after. After that, I have
we saw the news on Instagram. She was so excited. I just hosted. I never knew I had it in me.
I didn't say that.
Should I bring
it out?
Should I bring out your story?
I never knew I had it in me. That's not
bring your story archive. Let's check.
That's not my
I never
line.
knew I had it in me. Like
that's
this,
not my
that.
line. I don't think I can say that.
I won't expose you. I won't expose you further than this, but keep going.
Oh my goodness, Dillion. I really enjoyed the experience. And the funny thing is, after that one time I did Encore, I've gotten like 4 other opportunities to also host. And these were people who said, oh, we saw what you did there, come and do it again. And I even just declined one that was supposed to happen next week Tuesday because I don't
busy
have,
because you were busy.
no, because I'm interning, so
busy,
I don't have
busy
time.
woman.
So yeah, so those are like, that's one of the things I've engaged in. I actually did enjoy, and even though I'm not making money from it right now, but hopefully I'll soon start collecting.
Nice.
So
If you're hosting any event and you need MC, you can start from here. She's not very expensive at the moment. But apart from hosting, are there any other curricular activities that you can share?
Right now, I'm the secretary for the Nigerians in Wageningen community. So my university has Nigerians, and Nigerians have a community called Nigerians in Wageningen. I'm the secretary currently, so like I'm part of the board to organize events. I also volunteer in uni for things like Africa's Day or usually Africans Day. So sometimes we have like events where we have different cultures showcasing their culture and all of that. So I volunteer, I show up.
Nice. So the school gives opportunities for you to engage in all of these outside school programs or community
it's in this
programs.
schedule actually. Like there's actually like Africa. There's actually like Culture Day. We have a UCAS event. So UCAS is University Community of African Students Day coming up. Yeah. So it's international, and they put it in like the school calendar.
Interesting. Yeah. Super nice. Well, thanks for sharing. I believe this would be the same with a couple of other schools too, because at least one thing I know about in Netherlands is it's even down to the workplace. It's not just work. There are also other activities. Even at my workplace, sometimes we have drinks or we have this day where people would go to watch Formula One, or a particular day where people would watch football. It's really interesting to see how there is a balance with, other things in life than just school or work. Moving on. And this is a very interesting question, and I'd like you to be as honest as possible. What was your expectation with masters, especially coming from a different country? How is this expectation different or similar with reality?
I can answer this question in so many ways.
Okay.
But I'm going to just try to simplify it, right? I think the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that I was thinking that I would have a plethora of opportunities coming for me, not me going for them. After I'm done. That's why I said I thought it would solve my problems. Okay. So I just felt like after I'm done with my masters in Netherlands, I would have like so many opportunities chasing me, and then I'll be doing many more.
And then they rush us.
But I got the shocker of my life in my internship because I was the one hustling to get an internship, right? So I think that's one of the shocks I got, or rather, expectation of the reality situation.
But you're not done with the masters yet, right?
Yeah, I'm not done, but I can already see that I still have to do the chasing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you also realize that the learning actually never stops. So the fact that you're done with your masters doesn't mean that there are not other things that you can actually learn about to be what you want to be. And sometimes you might even need like specialized knowledge. Okay. For example, you might need to take a course in ESG just to like know a particular
What is ESG?
environmental, social, and governance. So it's like a new consideration that companies should take for certain things. My point is that the learning never stops, and getting a master's is not the end of your learning process.
Yeah.
There will be always be things to learn. I was talking with my friend, and he was telling me about how he's tired of taking all these courses because it's like all the courses he has taken in his life, he has not used them.
Okay.
It's like, and I use the one I've taken.
Yeah, I get it.
And then I also expected that the masters would be relatively easier than bachelors because
big mistake.
it's actually way more taxing. Why? Because time is very valued.
Yeah.
And it feels like they've calculated your hours for you. And they know what you should deliver at the end of the day or at the end of the week.
Yeah.
So there's very little room for procrastination, and you have to get the work done.
Yeah.
So if you're coming, don't come in the morning, you're coming to relax and all of that. You're actually coming to work.
Yeah.
Because every hour counts, every minute counts. But the thing about here is that when it's a break, it's a break.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I know that one.
Yeah, so when you're having a break, you're having a break. You can, once it's Friday at close of business, close your laptops and shut them down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was also a big
that's actually interesting how there's a way you perceive something before you go to another country, especially based on what you have seen from movies or what you have seen from vlogs. Like everything is chilled here, but then the reality can just be different. So thanks for sharing. Language barriers in masters in the Netherlands. How has that been for? I know Amsterdam is quite international, so the language barrier here is not so big or heavy. What's the right adjective? I don't know. See, English is not coming today. But how is it for you, like in Wageningen?
I think it's non-existent, to be honest.
Wow, that's
so
nice.
Yeah, I've never experienced any language barrier because all the courses are taught in English. At least all the ones I took. I haven't seen a case where I couldn't take course because it was in Dutch. And even if it's a Dutch course, there's always an English version to it. So in educational system, no. So far.
The Netherlands, like I know generally, there are certain cities that can have like a strong language barrier. Maybe you find more of families or natives there. But when it comes to things like work or studies, you'd find more international programs, more people speaking English, or more professors or lecturers who maybe they were even a native, but they have spent their time somewhere else learning English. So, generally, you wouldn't have language barrier problems. That's the whole summary. Well, moving on to the 10th question before we have our little break. What forms of support have you received in your studies so far, apart from the obvious scholarship?
From the education system itself?
From the Netherlands, from the university.
Okay, I think the university system, the leadership, or let's say the professor-student relationship is pretty flat in terms of like the hierarchy of relationship. Okay. So it's really flat. There's no like high up and where you're like scared or anything. So I can easily reach out to my professors to ask them questions. Yeah. So that's something I really enjoy and like. I remember the first day I was in the lecture room, and I think I'm gonna call this part, but I was like, "Excuse me, sir."
Okay.
But everyone, I think it was weird because they were all calling the guy's name. Yeah. Did you get? So that was my first day. Yeah. But I'm just like, I got the memo, obviously, but yeah.
Who told you?
From observation.
Okay.
That is no star.
Why do you want to cut it out? It's a nice thing to say. I experienced this when I started working. There was this company I used to work when I was in Nigeria. I was working for this remote company in the US, and then everybody was just calling themselves by name. The CEO, like, put ma. This person will just be like, hi. Yeah. Your manager, hi. I'm like,
but now I've gotten comfortable with calling people their first names.
To be honest, I'm even scared of going back to Nigeria with
what
I have gotten used to now, because saying things like sir no longer comes to me naturally. Before it was more natural, but now it's more of intentional. Like if I'm chatting with somebody, like sometimes when some of my uncles reach out to me from Nigeria, I'm intentionally saying sir because it's no longer natural to me. So I think that's
okay.
an honest thing to say.
Okay.
Why do you feel
I
scared?
don't know. I'm not scared, but like I feel like I've just been too honest in this interview.
So what? You're not going to be honest for the rest
No,
of
I'm
the
going to be
interview?
honest. I don't know how to not be honest. To be honest.
Anyways, I totally agree with the fact that people can be accessible here. I mean, of course, people are different, but
Yeah.
on a general scale,
People are quite accessible.
in the workplace, in the academic space, people are accessible. You can easily reach out to your supervisor, lecturers, ask them certain questions, and they'll be willing to help you.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention that we also have study advisors here who are employed for the students. So it's a case of you can book meetings with them. So check their schedule, book a meeting, send an email, quote and unquote, they are obliged to reply you ASAP.
Oh,
Because that's their job, right?
nice.
Yeah, so it's really like it's a good support from the uni to ensure that everyone has whom to ask questions at any time. Of course, my community of friends have been real helpful, like church friends. Yeah.
Really great. Well, if you give us a few seconds, we want to have a little break, to ensure that the recording is still going fine. That will be part of the blue.
Bloopers are always very fun.
Why are you shocking me?
Again.
Sorry. Stop shocking me.
Oh my goodness.
So, we're back from our short break.
Yep.
We have a few questions left. What is the master's program like? So you explain what the internship program is like, what the application process is like, but the master's program itself.
It's a 2-year program. The first year you take courses, so you're not doing any other thing except taking courses. It's divided into 6 different periods. You get breaks in between some periods. Some periods are longer than some. But that's a whole year of taking courses, writing exams and all of that. Then the second year is a year where you do your internship and your thesis. So you can do them the other way around. You don't have to do your thesis first.
Oh.
Yeah. So I did my thesis first, but you can do an internship first and then do a thesis after. So the thesis is supposed to last 6 months.
Yeah.
And then the internship is supposed to last 4 months.
Okay.
Minimum. So you can also do a 5 months internship or a 6 months internship, but in total, your master's is 2 years.
And with the classes, with the masters, it's like you have like schedules every day, particular courses you're learning every day. I mean, what I can just remember is how university was like, where you have this course and this course and this course today, by this time, tomorrow the same thing. Is that also how it is?
Yeah, like it's so structured that you know what you'd be doing in 8 weeks.
Wow.
So there's an app for students where you see your entire schedule for a particular period. So that's it, where we do put like timestamps as well, location, like where the class is holding.
So what would you say is the difference between masters and maybe your bachelor experience in terms of
Structuring. I think it's the fact that I can know when my exam will start before I even start that period.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so the dates are pretty exact and very scheduled. So on the app, you could see like for an entire period when the lectures end, when it's like study week. Study week is the same thing as uni, where we'll have like a week for revision.
Yeah.
So you see your study week, you see your exam day. So it helps you really plan.
Nice. Oh.
So I think in terms of structuring, that's something that I really like.
Next question is, what valuable skills, I mean, you just mentioned one of them, like growing personally, especially when working with people, but what other valuable skills have you acquired so far in your master's program, apart from also hosting?
Yeah, I think 2 things come to mind. One is my professional development. So I'm now a better econometrician. I'm better at writing my codes on Stata. I'm also better at writing, even though I've always been a good writer, but it has improved. And also like personally, I've grown. So now I can communicate in very short, precise way, and pass my information. I feel like sometimes we have the tendency to be very ambiguous, but with all my group works and everything I've been in, it just helps me to just communicate more clearly.
Nice.
And also my confidence level has improved.
Nice.
I've never been a timid person, but like with higher profile people, like I mean, I don't think I shiver.
Mm.
Like that handshake will be firm.
Nice.
You know,
Nice.
that eye contact will be there.
Nice.
And sometimes I even lead the conversation.
Super
So I
nice.
think that's one thing I've also grown in, and I see people also tell me that, like,
Oh, really
so
good.
yeah.
Interesting. Moving to the next question is how have you balanced your studies and personal interests? Or the first question is, do you have personal interest?
I don't like when this question comes up because I don't think I know. I don't know what I.
You don't know.
What is baby with?
You don't know if you have personal interest. Okay, that's. I asked that question just for asking sake, but you don't know if you have
No,
personal
I know,
interest.
I'm just kidding.
Are you just kidding?
No, I'm just
You can
kidding.
be honest with me.
No, I can. I have personal. Of course, I have personal interest.
Okay. So how have you been able to balance this personal interest with your studies?
First of all, we're going to cut that part where I say I don't have personal interest, right?
We're not going to cut it.
Please,
We
I'm
will
going to cut
see.
that part. Thank you.
Everybody will see that you said it's life, that you don't have personal interest.
Oh my goodness. I think how I balance is the fact that I try to be efficient. So, and I learned it from the Dutch working style. When it's time to work, I work. When it's time to play, I play. Sometimes we tend to think that when you are always thinking about the work, that's when you're productive. But that's what causes burnout. So when you are not away from working, talk with your friend. That's what I do at least. Like talk with my friends, do other things. But when I'm working, you can put your phone on DND. On that Instagram if you have to, you know. So for me, just about focusing when I need to.
So how have you been able to manage this, like very effectively? Is it just a thing, a mindset thing of like, now I have to work, now I have to do this, or are there other practical things you do? I know one practical thing that I do when I need to focus on work, for example, is putting my phone far away when I work from home. Put it far away, I put it on do not disturb. Like I work in my room, my phone is in the living room, for example. But are there other practical things that you do, or is it just always like I have to work now? I have to do this now.
No, not like that, like a robot or something.
Okay.
But I think for me, it's just avoiding social media for certain hours. Those extra like 10 minutes are very cumulative.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I learned this one from Faye. Shout out to you, Faye. Putting a restriction to my Instagram. So like I think she does 2 hours per day. Sometimes
Faye does 2 hours per day on Instagram.
No, wait. You can actually like do ignore. So you can actually ignore the prompt when it comes on your phone and keep on and stay on the app.
Faye does not do 2 hours on Instagram.
But yeah, it's a good way. So sometimes when I get notification like you have 5 minutes to your time expires here, it now doesn't like you spend 2 hours of your day on Instagram. So yeah, I think those. It doesn't. I don't think I do any other thing apart from like just staying away from social media, just focusing.
Oh.
I mean, it's easier said than done because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm having fun. I'm thinking about my work.
Yeah.
But that's what I try to do at least.
So in general, it's just you make out time for your studies and you make out time for your
for other
personal interests,
yeah.
and you stay diligent to those times.
Yeah.
Oh, great. The next question is, well, I think this is a bit related to what valuable skills have you acquired. The question was going to be, how has your academic and personal life changed since moving to the Netherlands? This can be socially, it can be mentally, mindset, it can be how it has changed the way you approach people.
I think for me, it's the fact that you should always ask questions when in doubt. Because I think for me, I always try to figure out things myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't want to ask like a very, unwise question, right? But I've discovered that to save time, just ask. I mean, if a simple Google is not doing it for you, then ask.
Yeah.
Rather than being stuck and not moving forward.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so try to Google, try to see what you can find. But if you can't find answers, then ask someone. I'm thinking of how my academic life has changed. I actually don't think it has because I sort of approached the education here the same way as I did in my bachelor's in Nigeria. So for me, it's pretty the same thing. Try to show up when you need to show up. And personally as well.
Well, it's also interesting that you share the part of asking questions because I'll also be somebody who likes figuring things. But I mean, coming from the work setting now, it's like sometimes you try figuring out things and you are spending as much time that you shouldn't spend if you had just asked. So sometimes I ask, I get the answer, and I'm like, I should have just asked this question like 2 hours ago. I mean, it doesn't mean like every single thing
Yeah,
you
if
should
like, if you
ask.
can find it on Google. Yeah.
But asking is important. Well, the last question that I have here is any advice, any tips for anyone coming to do their masters here in Netherlands? I mean, you already shared a bit of them in application process, like if you are top 0.1%, put it and be very quick. But I don't know if you have more advice or tips for.
I think the advice I have is actually more general than Netherlands, but if you're applying for a master's in another country, please do your research before you go. What are the relevant industries in that country?
Yeah.
What are the opportunities related to the skills I have in this country? Right? Before, investing your time or your energy or even your years, because 2 years is a lot of time to invest in something that you'd end up not using.
Yeah.
Right, so I think for me it's like do your research on the country, on the opportunities, on the course, and these things are online. Like you don't need to employ anyone to give you the information that you need. Like I never employed any agents, anybody. I think the highest I did was to contact my university lecturers for reference letters. Right? Okay.
This was for your internships?
No, for my application here.
Oh, university.
In bachelor university. So it's like the information is at your fingertips. So do your research so that you don't come and you are frustrated.
I think that's the best advice you can actually give, because as you would see with her story, she already knew about the scholarships and she already knew about this whole idea of highlighting top 5 or top 2%, and she was able to put that information in her application, although the places in UK, they rejected her application. But research is very important because you get to see what information makes you stand out. Like you can apply for studies, for example, and you feel like you've put all the information that can give you an advantage, but in reality it wouldn't, because those were not really the things that they were looking for. They may be very good things, but they were looking for something else. Thank you so much for sharing that advice and also sharing how that advice actually paved way for you in your own journey, in your story. Well, we've come to the end of the questions that I have here, and I think this has been pretty insightful also for me, learning more about masters. Like I really never knew your scholarship was covering everything.
Yes, it is.
I thought it was just probably like tuition fee and a couple of others, but everything.
No, that's what I'm choosing.
I think I'll start considering masters now. So, because whenever I see those figures are ridiculous. 21K. Nah.
Like even like visa costs, like flight tickets to come here.
Well, thanks for sharing all of that, and I really hope that this has been useful to you, and all of the tips, lessons, experiences shared here also guides your decisions, also guides your strategy, and also guides your application. I can say for a fact that at least most of the universities here are amazing, like you can also see from her story. If you have more questions that was probably not attended to in this video, let me know in the comments and I can reach out to Onyinye and she would share the answers, or maybe I have another interview and I get to answer those questions. Well, thanks for watching. Well, last time Feisha helped me do the like and subscribe, so do you want to help me too?
Yeah, I haven't said outro.
She already knows the name. Do the rest.
Thank you guys for watching. So this is again Onyinye. Am I just okay? Well, let's grab that. Sorry. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed sharing my experiences with you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please share, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below.
Please do, as she has said. Well, watch out for the bloopers and have a great day.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Don't worry. It's part of the bloopers.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Why did you say hello like that?
Don't worry, I've done interview already, so
Okay.
honestly.
I think I'm too honest in this.
You were really honest too.
We have to cut that part out.
No, let's keep it. You don't want them to drag you. Don't worry, the drag is coming.
Oh my god, I feel like I was too honest, Dillion.
Let's move
Can you
on.
answer that question again?
Number 9. Is it easy for you to get your groceries, to do certain things?
I don't want to be so honest anymore.
Why?
I want to say something, just like this is going live.
That will be part of the bloopers. That will be part of the blue.
Bloopers are always very fun. 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 Fun.
Why are you shocking me?
Again.
This laptop shocking me.
Oh my goodness.